And welcome back to the Bruce Poinsette Show. As we continue with this special episode dedicated to the Lake Oswego School District, I just want to share a little anecdote about my trajectory working with the school district in this capacity of diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, whatever you want to call it. So we have a new, well, I shouldn't say not new now, but the current superintendent, Jen Sheely, who, it's been interesting. So I first met Jen when she was an assistant superintendent under Dr. Laura De La Cruz, the first woman of color superintendent in LO school district history in, I believe, 2018. Yeah, 2018. And it's funny because I met Jen because she invited me to do a student panel for their professional development day, right? So I get there, I get to Lake Ridge that morning, and I actually run into Laura, the the superintendent at the time, who we weren't great fans of each other. Let's put it that way. And I thought it was funny just because like she was really surprised to see me there. And like DI, all that stuff was, it's one of the things she was going to be bringing to the district. So the fact that she didn't know I was even going to be there doing a student panel for the teachers seemed odd. But also what I gleaned from that, and I'll never know if this is true or not, is whether just Jen went behind her back to bring me there or something. But for what it's worth, I took it as kind of like a good omen of the moment anyway, of like, okay, cool. Fast forward to today, and we have Jen on videos. Jen actually happened to be on the video, the student panel about SROs, talking and yeah, gaslighting students, gaslighting me about the whole process. And, a beautiful time, giving excuses of, this is how things are. But to bring it out of the SROs for a minute, because again, the work I've been doing is sort of more in a larger scope of DEI. A thing I found out that I didn't know before the meeting, and that's a little stain on me, is that they had actually changed their DEI department. So, for those who don't know, LO only recently even started taking DEI seriously, like around the time that, RTR got started, maybe a little bit before then, something like that. And they brought in a director at the time and ran him into the ground and gave him no support. And then demoted the position of director into a TOSA, which is a teacher on special assignment. Well, also because they, reached out to us about, help in getting this person. So we got to see the job description, and it's like 7 different jobs for, still of like the work of a director or a few directors, but now
put onto one person.
And this was under, I should say, this was under Superintendent Laura De La Cruz, mind you. I want to specify that. Again, the person bringing in the DEI initiative, cutting the DEI resources and saying it's not a demotion. I always remember, it's not a demotion of the position. She's elevating it to the office of the superintendent, because DEI isn't like a whole job in itself and not just a thing that one of the things the superintendent does. That seems totally sustainable. Whatever. So eventually I'll say they elevated the position up to a director again. And then either earlier this year or last year, they moved the person who was in that director position to the vice principal of one of the high schools. And so it was kind of just like vacant. And that's kind of like where I was last with them because honestly, you keep dealing with people and they keep BSing you. You're just like, yeah, this is a waste of my time. And there's other things I could be doing. Come to find out, fast forward, that it's no longer a DI department. It is under there is an initiative now, their Culture of Belonging initiative. Now, Ada, I don't know about you, but like when you hear that DI has changed the culture of belonging, what kind of signs does that give you?
That they are trying, it's like the whole diversity game all over again that we've been playing for years of like culture of belonging has no agency, no seriousness. Truly, it honestly sounds like the tagline of a PBS television show, if I'm being real.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little, again, for a district that wasn't exactly, a model of DEI initiatives for the first place, for their answer to be to water it down further. I don't know.
Pretty
I don't
rough.
think it's the right thing. As an alumni who went through there, dealt with a bunch of racism, it's very concerning as someone who deals with students still dealing with a lot of the exact same racism I dealt with, in some cases worse.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Beaverton School District alumni, and we have frequently looked at y'all crazy. The Lake Oswego district does not function well. One of my best friends went to Lake Oswego, and he left because he was getting beat up for being black regularly.
Yeah,
this is wild.
No, but it's the culture of belonging. That said. That brings us, because it is the B block, and we like to be a little bit more lighthearted here. Yeah. So we have a new game show from the same folks who brought you Hotep or Ferengi. Today we got you Culture of Belonging or Culture of Bullshit. Yeah, you decide.
You decide.
Let's start up. Let's go to the Culture of Belonging site. I want to just go up there and follow along with me, if you will.
We're here.
So I want you to scroll down, and on the right-hand side, you should see there should be a photo of a poster of Angela Davis. Do you see that?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, nice, right? Art by an LOHS student.
Yep.
Awesome. It's a fun backstory of that. That poster, very shortly after it was put up, was ripped down by the janitor. It's not back up. It's torn down. The district didn't do anything about that. I learned that from the students, of course, involved, but it's weird. They're definitely advertising it here on the site, along with, let's see, Asian Cultural Festival, promoted by the LHS Asian American Student Union, the Black Student Mentorship Program. Here's a guest speaker. You know what all these things have in common? It's not stuff the district's doing. It's stuff the students are doing.
And like, not trying to get, to get on their head. These have all are events that are like past.
Yeah.
Like nothing from my understanding is from the new school year, or there's some stuff in here from like 2021 and 2022 or not 22, excuse me, 2020.
Yeah. But yeah, again, culture of belonging or culture of bullshit. You decide.
Something's leaning towards the bullshit, to be honest.
So I mentioned the organization Respond to Racism earlier, and I want to direct you to the Culture of Belonging's partnerships page, because I found something very interesting there. So you see this Respond to Racism, you see the logo, right?
I do.
Now, when you click on the logo and it takes you to the Respond to Racism homepage, tell me, do you notice anything, I don't know, different about the logo?
Oh, wait, I didn't catch this. Oh, that's
so. For those listening at home, on their partnerships page, LOSD has Respond to Racism, LO for Love, and LO Change. LO Change, for those who don't know, we don't have a whole thing to get into this, is a group of teachers and community members who are pushing for, among other things, to get SROs out of schools, for more equity in the curriculum. And they no longer exist, but that's still up there. That's weird. But no, they have a logo for Respond to Racism that is two red bars with Respond to Racism in Lake Oswego in the middle. Now, that's not our logo. Our logo definitely has a purple, red, green stripes, flag, has Respond to Racism, as dialogue, action, learning. And to be fair, we had a previous logo, which was a stool that said dialogue, action, learning. But again, neither of those are whatever this thing is.
Wait, they just made their own logo?
Yeah. Why? So someone's got to explain that to me. Why would you just make up someone's logo again on your partnerships page? These are the organizations that are supposed to, back you up, give you credibility.
Oh my God.
That is that's one, is disrespectful. Two, again, why?
Yeah, what's the reasoning? I'm like now confused. And like this is something else I was gonna add, just like to the two parts of the site that we're looking at. The two pieces of the site thus far are very like again, I don't know who's doing your website for a school district, but like these are very underdeveloped. Like these are like real not well done. And I think I can say that because I have no attachment to LO, so I'll be a little bit more blunt here. Like this is a pretty bad website. Not gonna lie.
Oh man, yeah. So again, cultural belonging or cultural bullshit, you decide. But you know what? We've talked about Jen a lot. Let's let her speak. So again, I told you we did a panel on SROs, and naturally, like once she attended, and people had questions for her as a superintendent about not just the SRO, Student Resource Officer program, but also equity in general, in the state of DEI in general. One of those people in the clip we're going to watch, one of those people was myself. So in this clip, we're going to watch me asking Jen about, what was the state of the DEI department?
I mean, one quick
and
moment.
I will say that her answer was curious, but again, why should I put words into Jen's mouth? Let's let her speak for herself. Dr. Sheila, if you don't mind, one more question. But we brought up this, again, one of the potential ideas, resources, responses to some of these structural issues being like more DEI resources, maybe a DEI department. And I'm curious what the obstacles are to building that out in the district. Is it just budget or? Yeah.
That's a great question too, Bruce. I don't know that I think that there's any huge obstacles to building up that department. I think it has more to do with the structure of the department and creating something that the community, the students, the families, the staff know how to utilize correctly. You had some examples earlier of, and we've gone through a couple directors, and then Teresa is an administrator, so she's been elevated back to that. And as most of you know, she's now in one of our schools, which she's amazing. So I'm super happy that she's able to be there and work on the ground with our students. And right now we're trying to look at it with our new consultants from Engage to Change to figure out like what is the best structure for this, because the reality of it is equity has to be in everything we do and it can't stand alone in a department. And so it's important to us to build it up correctly instead of just putting a person and saying, that's your job. because that doesn't work. It hasn't worked for our district. And so we're really trying to build it up from the base. And I think getting a stronger foundation in how it affects everything that happens in our students to make sure that the culture of belonging is for all students is the best way we can go about this. And sometimes that takes a little longer because we're trying to build it. But I'm hoping that our work with Engage to Change is going to help us do that. And that's just an organization, equity group that we have hired to kind of help us, and from the board to the administration, to figure out what is the best way to build this system that's going to ensure that our students all feel like they're safe, that they have an adult they can talk to, that they not only can, belong to Lake Oswego School District, but they contribute to why we're excellent. And I think all of our students have the right to do that and be that. And so that's what we're trying to build right now.
So let me translate that for the people watching at home. So when Jen talks about, equity has to be in everything we do, as she also talks about why they've changed from a DEI department and staff to a culture of belonging initiative. What that kind of means is we're just keeping the work in the hands of the consultants, and equity, as far as actually pushing it, is going to be in the hands of the same people that were doing it before. The staff and the teachers that the students were complaining about.
Don't trust.
The staff and the students that, or I should say the staff and the teachers who weren't taking whatever trainings they were getting seriously before. But, it's going to be in everything we do. So maybe there'll be even more consultants getting more money to not teach people things, to teach people the most safest line of equity possible. But it's not responsive to the needs of the people who need it most.
Not at all.
And it's a bunch of, obviously, you get all the word salad, you get all that, but I just really want to hone in on this, of the same consultants that told you all the negative student responses to SROs were somehow neutral.
Mm-hmm.
The same people we're talking about here.
I would also like to add, first and foremost, I do not speak for Bruce. Anyone who is watching this, I speak for myself. I'm a separate entity from Bruce's programs and everything that Bruce is involved with, but I have some opinions. I think it's very well known, and this is coming from someone who's spent a lot of time as a student working for better opportunities for Black students. One of my favorite things that people play is so pretty much what she just said to answer your question was, there's nothing holding the program back except for the fact that we need to have more conversations. And I ask, why aren't these conversations already been had? Something is holding it back, and it is you and your team not prioritizing it. It's simple as that.
When we have these conversations, because it's not that they're not being had, but you get this response. You have, because this is, for the timestamp people, we're currently, the whole meeting video is an hour, 53 minutes and some change. This is the hour 47 mark. Okay. She's had the opportunity to hear from these students, hear from community members, never mind the years before that of the same thing. And instead of taking it seriously, they find new games, they push, they find new buttons to push, new things to hide behind. And we keep doing this same dance. I'll just say again, when you hear, for those who maybe you're not familiar with the lingo, when you hear someone talk about equity has to be in everything we do, and they're not talking about staffing, they're not talking about resources, they're talking about the same problematic people that they've been working with. Well, again, I ask you, culture of belonging or culture of bullshit? You decide.